Hello, sixth graders. Welcome to lesson 4.3, equivalent ratios. Equivalent ratios are ratios that name the same comparison. So for our first way of finding equivalent ratios, we're going to use multiplication. And if this, you can kind of think of it as making equivalent fractions. So if I wanted to find an equivalent ratio of 3/8, I could simply multiply both by 2 and get 6/16. And then find the next one, I can do times 3. That's 24, 9. So our equivalent ratios of 3/8 is 6/16, 9/24. Okay, not too bad, reminds us a lot of making equivalent fractions. So if I want to continue using that for the second example, 1/6, I can just keep continuing with the pattern, times 2, and keep going. 1 times 3 is 3, 6 times 3 is 18, times 4, 24, times 5, and 30. So I just made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equivalent ratios simply by multiplying the numerator and the denominator by various amounts. Another way that I can make equivalent ratios is by using division. So for number 3, I've got 50 over 100. Think about it just like fractions. We can keep simplifying this by dividing by the same number, our numerator and denominator by the same number. So let's say I divide it by 10. If I divide 50 by 10, I get 5. 100 by 10, I get 10. And for another equivalent ratio, we can think about, let's divide 50 and 100 by 50. 50 divided by 50 is 1, and 100 divided by 50 is 2. So these are all equivalent ratios. For number 4, I'll divide by 12. 24 divided by 12 is 2. 36 divided by 12 is 3. And I'm going to divide 24 and 36 by 2 for my last equivalent ratio. So 24 divided by 2 is 12, and 36 divided by 2 is 18. So those are 3 equivalent ratios to one another. Next, we're going to look at a word problem. Jessa made fruit punch by mixing 2 pints of OJ, or orange juice, with 5 pints of pineapple juice. To make more punch, she needs to mix OJ and pineapple juice in the same ratio. Write 3 equivalent ratios for 2/5. So for this one, we're going to make a table to show equivalent ratios. So first, start off by setting up your table. And let's put orange juice, so OJ, and the unit is pints. And we've got pineapple, so I'm going to do PA for pineapple. And that is also in pints. All right, so the original ratio that we started off with was 2 pints of orange juice for every 5 pints of pineapple juice. And so to keep this going, I'm going to multiply both by 2. So that's 4 and 10. Multiply now by 3, so 2 times 3 is 6. 5 times 3 is 15. And lastly, I'm going to do times 4. So 2 times 4 is 8, and 5 times 4 is 20. So our first one was times 2, times 3, and times 4. Don't forget to make sure you're doing that for both the numerator and the denominator, and not forgetting about that, because that would not be equivalent. So write 3 equivalent ratios. We've got 4/10, 6/15, and 8/20 are equivalent to 2/5. Here are your practice problems. Find 3 equivalent ratios for numbers 1, 2, and 3. Please use one of them for division, one multiplication, and one of them for a table. You can use a mix of division and multiplication to find equivalent ratios. So if you know that you can divide a ratio and you can also multiply it, that works too for finding equivalent ratios. So you don't have to use one operation completely by itself unless it's not possible to divide. All right, enjoy the rest of your day.